Allah. So just to set the stage so that I know the people that I'm talking to, could you please type in the comment section, where you're joining us from and what kind of job you're doing, where you're joining us from, and the maybe your career. Are you a businesswoman? Are you a project manager? And if you don't have any career at the moment, that's fine. Like, you don't have a job at the moment, that's also fine. You can just tell me what kind of job that you would love to do. So I'm waiting to see your comments in the comment section, sisters. Let me know where are you joining from and what's like your ideal job, or maybe a job you have at the moment. Hi, Sister Halima. Sister Aminat, I know you. Tikpe tikpe. I know that you are from Oshogbo. I don't even have any business with you today, Sister Amina. Sister Halima from Port Harcourt. It's so nice to have you here. And it's so nice to be talking to you. So anybody else? Oh, Sister Miriam from Ile-Ife. I know that Sister Amina went to bring all our Oshun people here today, but it's so nice to just be here and talking to you all. And I'm just going to encourage everybody that we're just ladies here. There's no need to be shy. There's no need to, just hold back. We're here to learn, and it's going to be a better learning session if we can be interactive. If the session can be interactive, if you can talk and then I talk, it's going to make more sense that way. um Sister Mubaraka, it's so nice to have you here. Ibadan, I serve there. Ibadan is the city of my heart. Sister Lola from Oshogbo. See, another sister from Oshogbo. Sister Rukayyah, my namesake, Ikorodu, Lagos. Okay, now. Sister Yetunde from Ibadan again. It seems like you all want me to come back to Ibadan today, but thank you so much for just engaging, sisters. So we're just going to move on to the main thing. So I have a question, and the question is, you know, when you want to write your CV, maybe you see a job, you want to apply for it, and you're trying to put your CV together, what are like the biggest concerns that you have? What are like the challenges that you face when you want to write your CV? Do you have any challenges that you face when you're writing your CV? Put that in the comment section, please, so I can read it out, and I'll be able to address some of those challenges before I leave here today, inshallah. Is it that you're not even sure what job roles to write there? Is it that you're not even sure how to even begin the CV itself? What exactly are those things that you struggle with when you want to write your CV? What's the first thing that comes to your mind? And even though we've moved past the place of introducing yourself, I have to scream because Sister Amina Musa is from Niger State at Bida Town. That's where I grew up. So I have to give her a shout out, especially. Okay, now I can see how to start writing the CV itself is a challenge. Um, Sister Mariam says, I feel I don't have enough experience, so my CV would be really scanty. Sister Amina says, how to introduce myself. And I'm just going to let you know that your challenges is not peculiar to just you. A lot of people struggle with CV writing. I used to struggle with CV writing too. And in fact, until a few years ago, I was also doing the CV of gender, marital status, this is the number of my house, that's, all the local government, state of origin. I was also doing all of those kind of CVs. But in the current world that we are right now, um, that kind of CV does not cut it anymore, especially if you're looking for jobs like outside Nigeria. If you don't want to just limit yourself to trying to look for jobs like in Nigeria. And I'm just going to come from the point of view of like somebody who is a writer generally, even before I had um, even before I had a job as a talent recruiter. So when you're writing your CV, it's like you're convincing people to take a chance on you. You're trying to sell yourself, right? You're trying to sell yourself to the employer. And every employer is not going to have the same needs. It's more like when you're going to the market, right? Even if they are saying, oh, buy tomatoes, the tomato is so fresh, this and that. If you have a basket full of tomato at home, you are not going to answer that person, right? And that's why every single CV that you write has to be tailored to the job you are applying for. What the employer who has put out that job, what they need is going to be different from that of another employer. And when you're writing your CV, you're trying to sell yourself. The CV is not even what is going to get you the job. The purpose of your CV is to actually land you an interview, to make them see that, oh, you know, this person might have something to offer me. So let me give this person an interview to further confirm maybe what is on the CV and see how they fit into the organization, right? So let's move forward and check the next things that we have to keep in mind. So when you're writing your CV, there are four things that I want you to keep in mind. If you're an early professional, you don't have a lot of experience, you don't know a lot of things, it's recommended that your CV should be a page long, maximum 2 pages, because you don't have so much to say and they don't have the time to read through so much. And you also want to use the space on that your CV, you want to use it wisely. We're saying 1 page, right? And the reason a lot of people struggle with trying to compress their CV into 1 page is because they're putting a lot of things that makes no sense in the CV. It is not the place for you to be putting your references. That's so outdated. So if you're removing a lot of unuseful things, you discover that there's enough space to put the things that are really important. So when you use the space on your CV wisely, you're able to concentrate on the most vital details. And you also have to be concise. You have to highlight the most relevant information. You show measurable key metrics. I'm not explaining all of this now. I just want you to have it in mind because I'll be showing you examples as I move on. And I also want you to know that averagely, when you submit your CV to a company, especially if it's not a small company, you're competing with a minimum of 500 other applicants for that job opportunity. And that's why you have to know that whatever it is you're dropping there for them to, read and everything, it has to be attention grabbing. You cannot just write a general CV and drop it there. And now, when people are hiring for vacancies, now imagine that, let's just even say 300 people are applying for a single role, and a recruiter doesn't work on just one role. They might have three, four, five roles that they are hiring people for, and 300 people are applying for each of those roles. Now, imagine that they have to go through over 1,000 CVs. They don't have all the time in the world to spend on your CV. They don't have all the time in the world to give you a second chance to convince them that you can do it, right? So industry research shows that an average recruiter, like on average, recruiters spend 6 to 8 seconds looking at your CV before they decide whether you're suitable for the vacancy or not. So you have just 8 seconds, sometimes even 5 seconds to sell yourself. And for smaller companies, this might be more, this might be different. But for if you want to compete on the global stage, this is the time that you have. And that is why you have to make every second count. When a recruiter is looking at your CV, they're just taking a glance there. These are the four major things that they're looking at. They're looking at your header, they're looking at your experience, they're looking at your education, your skills and interests. Those are the things that they are looking at. And then the fifth thing that they would look at, but that is dependent on whether the four things here like grab their attention, is what other thing does this person have to offer? but nobody checks any other thing that you have to offer if these four things are not in place. And I'm going to break it down for you on the next slide. When it comes to your header, your name has to be written boldly and it needs to be centered. Your contact, your email, your LinkedIn, your mobile number. If you don't have a LinkedIn account at this moment, you need to go and create one and make sure that it looks very nice. Your profile summary. These are the things that will go to your header. And the profile summary is optional, but it's good to have. Not all CVs have, profile summaries. It's optional, but it's also good to have because it summarizes everything that you're doing. And in the case where a recruiter is like pressed for time, they can just read your summary and know what it is that you're about, right? And when you go to the experience section, want to see the name of the company. Remember to add a full stop. Want to see your role title, right? We want to see your role. I've scrolled, sorry. Want to see your role title. Want to see your relevant achievements. Add key metrics. And you have to make sure that your recent experiences come first. So if you're writing a CV where your experiences are the things that are like there majorly, you have to make sure that it's your most recent experience that is at the top. So if you started working in 2006, you cannot write your 2006 job at the top and then you leave your most recent one at the bottom. No, you can't do that. And you have to add your volunteering experience or projects. So sometimes you might not have volunteered at a role, just for a project. So you have to add those volunteering projects. So for the sisters that are like, oh, maybe your experience, you don't know what to write since you don't have experience. If you have any volunteering experience, you need to put it there. And you need to also think out of the box. If you're like, I don't have experience, what were you doing while you were in school? Did you participate in any departmental stuff? Maybe you were part of a committee that was supposed to hold something in school. That is experience, right? And also, I'll discuss later how you can create your CV if you don't have so much experience. That means your CV has to be less focused on your job roles and more focused on your skills rather than the experience itself. Okay, so moving on to education. Want to see the name of the institution? Start from the most recent. If you have a master's degree, the master's degree should be at the top, not your primary school. The years of study should be there. And once you have your bachelor's degree, I don't know what your primary school certificate is doing on your CV. I don't know what your secondary school certificate is doing on your CV because if you have a bachelor's degree, it is assumed that you have those certificates. So your years of study from start to end and the program you studied, right? So if it's biochemistry, if it's microbiology, if it's medicine, it has to be there. And then your skills, relevant skills. So this is a mistake that a lot of people make. If you go to a website where they're doing a job advert, if you read it well, you will see the skills that are required for that role. So, for example, say I want to apply for a role as a book editor. I don't have any need to talk about my skills in sales. It has to be relevant. Yes, I have skills as a salesperson, but I don't need to put that skill there because it is not relevant to that particular role. And if you've been listening to what it is that I've been saying since, it means that for every role you want to apply for, you need to change the skills that are there. You need to change your interests too based on those skills, right? And if you have the good experience, good education and everything, you discover that when it comes to interest, you can still add interests. This is where you show that you've made enough research about the company you're applying to. What are their values? What's their culture? For example, at the room where I used to work, one of the biggest things that they're so particular about is community. If I want to tell them about my interest, I'm very interested in community building. So I would put that there because it is relevant to the role. They're interested in innovation, and I am a storyteller. I'll put storytelling as my interest. But I cannot put cooking because they are not cooking at the room. So whatever interest you want to put there has to be relevant to this position that you are applying for. So let's move to the next thing here now. So what I'm going to show you next is CV samples, because I don't want it to be just about this is what you should do, that's what you should do. I want you to actually see the different CV samples that I have with me. So, okay, let me share this. If you can see my screen, if you can see a CV, let me know. Please type yes in the comment if you can see this CV that I'm sharing. I'm waiting to know if you can see my screen and you are not sleeping. Thank you. Jazakumullah khairan. So, this CV that I'm showing you right now, I'm not showing you for the purpose of teaching you. I'm showing you so that you know it exists. This is what a lot of people call modern CV. You can see that it is very designed. It looks so like visually appealing and all that. And it's so nice, right? And I'm going to tell you that you shouldn't do your CV this way if you are submitting your CV on a website. Maybe you've gone to the website where you want to apply for a job and they're like, upload your CV. Don't do this. There is what is known as ATS, like an applicant tracking system that's used to check your CVs that you upload. And one thing that is there is when you put it there, and like, okay, let me just backtrack a bit. I was telling you initially that whatever skill it is you want to put in your CV has to tally with the job role that you saw. And this is one of the reasons. When you're submitting on a website, especially for big companies, there are thousands of people submitting their CVs, and the recruiters don't have the time to look at those 1,000 CVs one by one. So they make use of an application that screens out people. So based on the keywords in your CV, based on those keywords you're screened out, it measures how much your profile matches the job profile that was put out. And when you're doing all of these designs in your CV, it makes it harder for the program to read what is in your CV. So even if you use all of the keywords, let's say you even copy and paste, like you copied the entire job description and you put it in your CV, it will still be hard for you to be a match for the role because the system cannot really check what it is that you have there. So it would say that you're a poor match for the role when you are actually a very good match. So don't do this when you're uploading things online. But you can do this if you're a graphics designer, if you are doing all of this creative stuff, and the person is like, oh, send your CV to this email address. Most likely, if you're sending your CV to an email address, they're not going to download all the CVs that come in, they manually upload it. The person is most likely going to be checking it. And you're going to agree that when you're looking at this kind of CVs, they really look visually appealing and it's very nice. But I'm also going to call your attention to something. You see this picture here? Don't do it. Don't add your picture to the CV. If you are very fine, like Mami Water, put it there. You can put it there if you are fine, like Mami Water. Even though it can still create some kind of bias against you. They might not want you to come and cause distraction in the workplace because you're too fine. And for some people, they might look at you and they have bias maybe against something that they can see. So it allows you to be prejudged. So don't put your picture there because your picture is not who is coming to do the work. Your picture is not the person that would come and deliver to them. So you shouldn't put something like this there. No. But you can make your CV as fine as you want it to be, so long as you're submitting it outside of a system that can do any kind of profile matching. You're submitting it to someone's WhatsApp DM, you're submitting it to someone's email, then, go ahead and do that. And this is another example of that kind of CV. I just pulled all of this off of Canva. So if you want to design your CV and you don't have, the skills to be able to do that, you can use Canva templates. So remember, there's a rule to it. You're sending it to someone's DM, you're sending it to someone's email. You are not uploading it on a website. Whatever it is you're uploading on a website or some kind of system, it has to be ATS compliant. And that's why I'm going to show you this CV here, which is mine. So the first thing that is here is my name at the top. It is big, it is bold. You can see Adeyemi Rukayyah for me. It is not Rukayyah Adams you're seeing there. It is my official name that you can see there. So no matter what it is that you are known as, you cannot put it there. It has to be your official name. Rukayyah Adams is my real name. It is one of, like, Adams is still my surname, but it is just not the official one. So you have to make sure that whatever name it is you have there is your official one. And you can see Lagos, Nigeria. I am not putting number 2, Daddy Savage Street, number 5, Abule Egba Street. No, nobody needs to know your house address. You can see that my mobile number is there, even though I canceled out some of it for privacy. Your mobile number 1 is enough. You don't need to put 2, 3, 4. My email is there, and you can see that even if you click on that email without copying it, it will just take you to your Gmail app so that you can send me a message. And when you click, my LinkedIn link is there. So when anybody clicks on that link, it will take them to my LinkedIn profile. And that's one of the reasons why I don't need to cram all of my experiences on this single profile, on this single CV rather. I don't need to cram all of my experiences there just to show them that I have experience, because they can see it on my LinkedIn page. Now, when it comes to the summary, your summary also has to change. If we're going to be very honest, your summary also has to change so that you can speak to the role that you're applying for. If you read this summary very well, you see that it has nothing to do with recruiting, which is the last, like, the summary does not highlight any recruiting experience generally. And that's because I was moving to another department in the room. And there, they wanted to, it's the people operations and experience department. And what they want more is my people management and project management skills, not my hiring skills. Even though it's still an HR department, they're not collecting me, they're not hiring me to hire other people. And it's a remote organization with staff members in over 24 countries. And that's why the first line of my summary says that I am an experienced writer and editor with 7 years of remote working experience. It's very important that they know that I have remote working experience, that they are not going to handhold me during the process of working. I already have working experience, like in remote organizations, right? And I've headed cross-sectional teams with active involvement in learning, design, and management of virtual events and programs. If I was applying for a book editor job, I would not say that. But for that role, we're supposed to design virtual events for the staff members. We're supposed to manage the learning management system. And that's why I'm highlighting my experience in learning design. So we're going to be in charge of onboarding members, onboarding materials, for creating those materials that new staff members can go through and learn and become accustomed to the organization. And now I'm saying that I am highly adaptable with core strengths in written and verbal communication, which is very important because we're creating experience for people in the organization. We are in charge of communication. If something happens in the organization today, It is that team that is supposed to craft a message that will go out and tell the staff members, oh, there's no cause to worry. We just have a glitch somewhere. So you have to be very good at communication. Data entry, we deal with a lot of data, and we deal with a lot of analysis in that role. We're checking the number of people who are opening our newsletters, the number of staff members who are engaged, the number of staff members who are really like into the organization, because you can use all of this data to check staff members who are maybe like about to quit from the organization. You use all of this to track staff behavior and the kind of experience that they're getting. Correspondence management, content writing, we're creating engaging content on the staff profile, creating content that's going out in the newsletter, people and project management. We're managing a lot of projects there. So that's why my summary reads that way. But if I am applying for a book editor position, I would not be saying this. What I would put in my summary would be very different. What number of writers have I worked with to publish their books? What number of writers, like what aspect of editing do I have expertise in? That is what my summary will cover. And the skills that I have here, they are the particular skills that are on the website that are required in that position. You need to be able to manage project emails. You need to have presentation and facilitation skills. You need to be able to do research. You need to be able to report data like accurately, right? And then if you move down to my work experience here, you can see it. I'm talking about the number of coaching sessions that I coordinated. So we have people that we refer to as the room fellows, and there are youths that have taken programs with ALX and have graduated. So because I'm now applying to a position where I'm supposed to do a lot of events, I'm telling them that I coordinated a total of 13 coaching sessions for the room fellows in the recruitment pipeline. And I'm not just telling them that I facilitated those sessions. I'm telling them that we had a satisfaction score of 90%. And that's what I was saying the other time when I was like, when you want to put out your experience, you have to, when you want to put out your experience, you have to put metrics that can be measured there, right? You cannot just be saying, oh, I just facilitated. Another way of putting this would be like, I facilitated coaching sessions for 100 and something. Yes, it's fine for you to take screenshots. Like I facilitated 13 coaching sessions and that's it. But you can facilitate a session and it will be a total failure, right? So what's the participant satisfaction score? I had a score of 90%. And I'm telling them that I created a remote work guide that helped team members assess their level of remote work readiness. I do not have to tell them that I am a team player. This already tells them that this person is a team player. So all those things you put at the top of your CV, you're like, I'm a team player, attention to details, critical thinking skills. No, the things that you're talking about that you did. So instead of telling them that you're a team player, show them that you're a team player based on the things that you've put there, right? And this was a CV that I created last year. But generally, if you want to do this kind of CV, under the bullet points under each of your roles should be like 3 to 4 points max. And under each point, you should not have more than 3 lines. You're not writing an essay. It has to be something, short and simple. Always keep it short and sweet, right? And I'm talking about my own business where I have designed and facilitated 5 writing webinars and courses where a total of 1,670 women were trained, right? So it shows that I have been designing events and I've been delivering them. And I'm telling them I have a writing community. I have a satisfaction score of 97%. I have a monthly feedback review from 86% of the members, right? Because it's not enough for the members to be satisfied if they don't know the number of people that are actually giving you the feedback. Maybe it's just 2 people that are giving you feedback. And you're like, oh, we have 97% satisfaction score, right? This is how you show your metrics so that they know that you know what it is that you're coming to do and that you're coming to tell them, right? And that's it about the work experience section. And I have four experiences that I identified here, even though I have more than that. But for the purpose of this particular role, these were the main ones. And that's to say that you shouldn't bring all of your experience and pour it into a CV. And my CV is extending into 2 pages because I have the experience and I'm not just fluffing, I'm not just pouring fluff in there. And then you see that after my experience, that's where my education comes in. And my education is at the bottom of my CV because it is not relevant to the role. That is why it is not at the top. My education is not going to tell the recruiter who is looking at my CV that, oh, this person is fit for the role. It has nothing to do with it. I have an HND in science laboratory technology that has nothing, absolutely nothing to do with a position where I'm going to be doing a lot of event management and learning design. So it's there at the CV, but it also gives me credibility, right? But that is after I've told the person with all of my skills that are at the top and my experiences and the tools that I can use, right? It cements that, okay, I am not an illiterate. I do have higher learning certificates, and here they are, right? And you should know that when you're selling yourself, fight foul, fight fear, anyone you want, just fight it like that. I'm putting the ALX virtual assistant course here and the Young Entrepreneurs Program, not because it is relevant to the role. Those two certificates does not have anything that is relevant to the role. I am just trying to let the hiring person know that I am an alumni of their program, like of 2 different programs, so that they will know that I have passed through their system before. And that's what that part of my CV is for. And when you scroll down, you see volunteering. I'm telling them that I'm not just in it for the money, even though I like money. We all like money. But I'm just trying to convince them, no, I'm not really so much in it. I don't only do things that bring money. I've always been a founder and a writing coach. I have this community. I volunteered for the Nigerian Red Cross. And, I'm not just in it for the money. I have a humanitarian side, right? And this is dependent on when you look at the company's website to see their values. There are companies that really value all this kind of humanitarian related experiences, especially when you're in the health space, right? And I'm telling them that my interest is reading, storytelling, community management, and mental health advocacy, because I'm going to a people experience role where I have to create great experience for their staff members. And it means that I also have to cater for the mental health of their staff members so that they don't go crazy, even though there's really nothing I can do, but I can say nice words to the staff members so that they can know that, oh, this person is in my corner and I can help. And, I can always send a message to this person and the person is going to help me out. And I hope that, this has given you like a bit of insight as to what your CV is supposed to look like. And you can see that this CV is looking very boring. There are no pictures. It's just words here. So no pictures, no fancy designs. This is what I would put through an ATS system. And the system would still be able to help me match me to the profile of the job that I'm applying to. You understand? So I'm just going to go back to my slide now so that we can go to the next thing for the day. So I'm just going to quickly take you through the do's and don'ts. So the do's and don'ts, make it short and sweet. I've said that before. Don't squish it all in. Like in the bid to say, oh, they said only 1 page, oh, it shouldn't be more than 1 page. But I want to put all of my CV there and I want to be wise. I want to be cunning. So I'm going to put the font at font size 7 so that I can pack 3 pages of CV into 1 page. You can't do that. If a recruiter cannot read what you have there easily, they'll just move on. They are attending to dozens, hundreds of people, and sometimes thousands, depending on where you're submitting to. Do not use more than 3 lines for your bullet points. That's under um under your job duties, like your achievements and everything in those roles, just use don't use more than 3 lines. Don't say because okay, I want to pack 2 achievements into one. Then they said, Shebi is just 4 things I'm outlining, but under one outline like this, I'll write 5 lines. Don't do that. Don't make it more than 3 lines. And do not send your CV as a Word document. That is very important. PDF is the recommended format. If you send it as a Word document, everything can scatter. And by the time it gets to the other end, it means that, it's going to be scattered. It's going to look like you did not put in any effort. It's going to look like you don't have any attention to details. It's going to look like you don't really care about the job. That is what a scattered CV communicates to the person that is reading it. So don't do that. And don't forget to spell check. I know it's not everybody that's an editor, it's not everybody that's a proofreader. And that's why you have Grammarly. Use Grammarly to run through your documents before you submit it. But don't also, when Grammarly highlights your mistakes, don't also say that it should affect all of the corrections for you, because Grammarly is it is a machine. Like it is a machine. Let me just put it that way. And it does not have any context. It does not take note of nuances. So it's going to change your name. If you allow it to effect correction, it is going to change your name. It's going to change a lot of things because they're not English words. So effect the corrections one by one and have a master resume. I told you at the beginning that each CV should be tailored to your job. You change the headings, you change the summary, you change what is under, but you would know the kind of jobs that you want to apply to. For example, there are jobs that I can apply to. They have to do with things like operations and program management, learning management, community management, things that are maybe like involved in recruiting and book editing. So, and all of these are kind of interrelated to an extent. So when I want to do something like that, there is a master CV document that I have where I just go and copy and paste. It makes it easier for you to tailor your CV to each position, so that it's not when you see that position, you start coming up with different words and English that you want to use to communicate your experience. So have a master resume. It can be as long as 10 pages if you like. Just make sure that everything you need to apply to different roles are there. So you're just doing copy and pasting on the day that you need to tailor your resume and submit it. Do not include random, unrelated, or off-putting hobbies. Don't put things like I like cooking, unless maybe you're a food writer. Then cooking is related. But if you're applying to a job in the office and you're telling them your hobby is cooking and all that, it does not really make any sense, and it does not speak well of you. It doesn't represent you. Don't include obvious skills, all those attention to details, great team players, and all that thing. That's not what you should be putting in your CV. Microsoft PowerPoint, except maybe you're applying for those kind of roles that require that. If you're saying, oh, you're a data analyst and all that, you want to show them that you have very good use of Excel and, advanced level. So you can put that, but just make sure that you're putting skills that you can find or that you can glean from the job profile that was sent to you. Show your achievements using quantifiable metrics. I explained it to you all earlier when I was showing you my CV and talking about the CSAT and the number of people giving feedback and all that. Consider a summary statement at the top. Sometimes recruiters are exhausted, they are tired, they don't have the time to go through your CV, right? They don't have the time to do that. So having a summary that is strong and awesome will just give them an overview of what it is you do and the strengths that you have. And avoid adding your personal image. Unless you're going for a TV presenter role, you want to apply for to a modeling agency, then you can put your personal image, even though I hope that nobody here is going to be applying to a modeling agency. So it's CV review time. I have a few CVs here that I want to review, but before then, just drop it in the comment section. Do you have any questions based on what it is that I've said so far. How do you feel? Is there something that you were hoping to learn that I haven't covered? Please drop it in the comment section, because I'm quite aware of the fact that I cannot cover every single thing that there is to talk about when it comes to CV in 1 hour. So please, if you have any question, just drop it here in the comment section. Drop it. I'm in the comments. I'm waiting there to see. I can't see any comments yet too. Doesn't mean you don't have any question. You don't have any questions about CV writing. So I'll just give you time to go through that, and let's see. I'll give you time to come up with your questions if you have any, and you can be dropping them in the comment section. I'll just go ahead and give a feedback to the people who shared their CVs with me earlier. Okay, so this CV that we have here, I tried my best to actually blur out a lot of personal details there so that I don't just expose this person unnecessarily. So we have one of the things that this person did right with this CV is that the person's name was in bold, and in the middle it was very bold. So that's the first thing you would see. Address, we have here, we have the person's flat number, the total house address. And this is something that can expose you to danger, right? You should not have your house address on your CV. Like Lagos, Nigeria is fine. Bida, Niger State is fine. Ibadan or your state is fine. But don't put your house address on your CV. And this person has added two different emails. Does that mean that one of your email is unreliable? Because one is fine. Your mobile number is fine. And career objectives, to be honest, this doesn't speak to me at all. And I don't think it would speak to any other person on the call. And we have like 3 E's here. So it just shows that you were not paying attention when you were writing what it is that you were writing, right? So what we have here does not work at all. It's not an objective. The companies are not looking for people who can contribute to the best of their ability and knowledge. They're looking for people who are adaptable, who can work with other team members, who have things that they want to come and contribute to the company. And now, personal data, I would say scrap this entire place. And aside from the fact that this is like a very outdated method of writing a CV, I'm seeing your date of birth, and it shows that you're above 30, but you don't have a lot of experience, right? You don't have a lot of experience. You have like very little experience. And that's going to like create some kind of prejudice. This person, you know, does not have experience, and they're so much older. So they're very close to retirement or so. And this person is not going to be here for so long, right? So don't do that. I can look at your state of origin. The person that has the CV knows the state of origin that they are from. But it could be that I've had a bad experience with people from that state. Automatically, I'm transferring that aggression to you. So don't add anything like that. Your local government is not my business. Nationality, not so much. Marital status, you are married. Hey, combined with your age, it actually means that most likely you have a lot of children. You have a lot of children. It means that you have maybe children that are like your priority. Before you even get a chance to step into the room and convince me about you, it means that I've made a lot of assumptions about you, and they are not in your favor at all. Because I'm thinking this person doesn't have experience. If she's married and she's this age, that means she has a lot of children. She might not even have the time to learn. So don't do that. Don't add all of these things that can work against you here. And let's look at your education. So BTech, I've forgotten what it is that you studied, actually. I've forgotten that. But your education is not the first thing that I should be seeing, especially if you're applying to a role that is not so related to your education. But if you're applying to a federal government job and all that, no, the education is awesome. But you have a BTech, so I'm assuming that you have a WAEC, NECO, or anything else. You don't need to have this here. I'm assuming that you went to primary school. You don't need to have this here. And when it comes to professional certification, as a Nigerian, I'm biased against this. It says Dash Computer Academy Advanced Certificate. In my head, I'm thinking of all those roadside cafes that teach people how to use computer basically. And that does not speak about anything, that you have, right? You were an immunization officer. This is great, but what did you do? How many people were you able to cover, the immunization? How fast were you if you were doing field work? How did you contribute to the community where you were an immunization officer? Tell us. You have to put into consideration the fact that a lot of recruiters, they are not people who are like specialists in your place, like in your line of work. I do not, for example, if I don't have a science background, I don't know what you are really doing as an immunization officer. Maybe you're just knocking people's houses and you're like, bring your children, 1 to 5 years, let's put mouth drop. So you have to take into consideration the fact that recruiters, they are not specialists in medicine, software engineering and other things. So you have to show what it is that you did. Even if they're experts in that field, you still have to show what you did. You have a teaching position. Most likely you used your communication skills. You were able to develop notes and materials based on curriculums that you were given. What class did you teach? What impact did you have on the children? Right? So it's the fact that you've not been able to maximize the use of your CV here that's making it look like you don't have any experience, while you actually do have that experience. You understand? So outline the things that you were able to do. What was your function at this role? What's the tangible results that you were able to get? Right? Same with this Ministry of Livestock. Your personal profile here is, you should scrap it and put a better summary at the top. Your interest, cooking is not really relevant. Reading, yes, it shows that you have initiative. You're always trying to learn and all that. If reading is your interest, that's fine. Traveling, mm, not so much if you're looking for a government job. That means you'll be disappearing every other day and they're not going to see you at work. So look for things that are related to the jobs that you want to apply to, and your reference should totally be taken out of the way. Like I mentioned earlier, the purpose of your CV is to get you an interview. If you make it to the interview stage, they are going to request for your reference. And the truth is, you don't want to have a static reference on your CVs. You do not know what these people are saying, right? Say, for example, you submitted a CV 2 months ago. You and the person that you put as your reference, you people have now fought. Maybe you offended the person, whatever it is that happened. And now they are calling the person because you already provided the CV, you already provided the reference rather. So they cannot come back and ask you for a new reference. They are calling the person and they are asking the person that, this person applied for a job. What do you think of the person? Unless the person is like someone that is so God fearing, they are not going to have good things to say about you. So your reference does not have any job that it's doing there. Leave it for when you scale this level of just the recruiter going through your CV. And I think one of the biggest things that I learned in a career session with one of the career coaches at the room was, when you put people as your reference, just sit down one day, use an unknown number or have someone else call them and ask about you. For some of us, the reasons why we're not able to get a job for the last 5 years is because we have been putting references there, and since the day they've been calling them, they've never had anything good to say about us. So call the person and even hear what it is that they have to say about you. But regardless of whether you're calling your references or not, make sure that you don't have reference on your CV like this. If they need it, they will ask. Unless, on the job profile, they tell you specifically to add your references, because there are roles like that where they tell you specifically to put your reference there. So if they do that, then add the reference, because now they've requested for it. And I'm just going to quickly go through one more CV. I can't go through all of the three that I have. And as we go through everything, you can drop your questions in the comments. I'm going to go through that once I'm done with this last CV. And if you don't want to be seen in the meeting, please, you can put your video off so that you don't show intimate things about yourself. Back to this particular CV, I quite like it. I like it because I can see the person's experience, I can see a lot of other things and all that. But this person is a physiotherapist. One of the major things that you're looking at is the skills. And I have the skills on this end of my CV, the right side. Sorry, could you please mute your mic if you're not talking? If you're not talking, please mute your mic so you don't disturb the call. Thank you. So back to the CV, your skills is like one of the major things that you're supposed to showcase, and it's on the right hand corner here. It is not very readable, if I'm going to be honest. So make it readable. Please have your microphone on mute. You're disturbing the call, Sister Halima. Thank you. So just put it back, like make sure that the skill is very readable. It's clear. Don't use this blue thing you have here. And you also made the same mistake with your home address that I mentioned to the other sister. Your professional summary could be better. What's like the summary of your career, the skill sets that you have, like a summary of like your strongest skill set. Put it there. How long have you been working? What years of experience do you have? From reading this, I can't really tell if you're a beginner, if you're like a junior level, mid-level, or you're somebody with like 20 years of experience, and your professional summary should communicate that. And your detail oriented, team player, strong organization skills, these are buzzwords. Recruiters are tired of seeing that. So be creative with what it is that you put there, and make sure that it's relevant to the job role that you're applying to. Your education, it's where it is supposed to be. Education is good, because we can see that you're not just a physiotherapist that was trained on the roadside. You actually went to school to study it. But there's nothing you're using your WAEC for, there's nothing we're using your primary school for, because we're assuming that your university saw all of this before they gave you admission. So please, you can remove those, unless of course you're applying to a local government job. You should know that when you're applying to local governments in Nigeria, you might want to see all of these things. So I'm not talking about those kind of places. You can leave it there. And professional practice, it's not your roles that's supposed to be here. Your physiotherapist is your role here now. It's not the function of that role. So it's what you were able to achieve here. So you put most of that here. But I can't really see like a tangible thing that you achieved. This seems like a lot of description of your profession. So whatever it is you have here should not be the description of, that role, but of tangible things that you were able to achieve. And here you said private practice. I'm assuming that you're working for yourself. Do you have a name, or anything that does? Maybe you're running a personal business, might have an hospital or so, but I can't really tell from just having private practice here. Or are you working from home? Are you practicing from home? So you want to make that clearer. And here I'm complaining of the same thing that I complained here. Reduce this thing. We have 6 here, and they're not really communicating what it is that you did. But this first one still works, but just make sure that you're putting 3 or 4 bullet points here and add tangible results there. Same with this one. Your academic publication is awesome. Membership is awesome. Language is awesome, because And the reason why I think language here is awesome is you're a physiotherapist. You're working in a hospital where you might have people who do not understand English. And that works in your favor because they're like, oh, this lady understands Yoruba. So even if it's an old woman from the most rural area of Oyo State that comes to the hospital, you can speak to the person, right? And if you're able to speak Arabic, especially if you're looking for a job outside Nigeria, that means when, especially if you're applying to like Arab countries, it means that you can easily, maybe not easily, but you can it would be easier for you to integrate into the society because you already understand their language, and that's a plus. Your references are available on request. That's great. um so that's the two CVs that I have here today. And yes, that's it. We've spent almost an hour now. So questions, please ask your questions. There's no question that is stupid, please. If you don't ask, you can't know. And if you're looking for something that is more than, that's more than this, and you want to ask another question, you've had it in your mind. Maybe you want to ask how to put your CV together, you want to pivot to another career or anything like that, you can ask all of those questions. No question is stupid. So let me just come here and see. Okay, you're asking me to show my CV again so you can see what a good template looks like. So I showed different CV samples, and my CV that I showed is actually something that is meant for ATS, for systems that use ATS, for companies that use ATS rather. And this is it. I'm saying I'm adding my summary here because it shows everything that I've been doing since. My LinkedIn is there if they want to know everything about my career. These are the skills that I have and the tools. And you will not see my education at the top here because my education is not relevant to any of the career paths that I've been trying to pursue. So my skills is what makes me stand out, followed by my work experience. And you see all of that here. But I'm also still adding my education. I'm not scrapping it out simply because it's not relevant to what it is, like to the position that I'm applying to. It's still gives me credibility that I went to school, so it's there. And add all of your volunteering things if you want to add. You can add your interests if you want to, but make sure that whatever interest you're adding is relevant to the position you're applying to, or it showcases that you are able to like merge into the culture of the company that you're applying to. And yes, this is it. I hope you've been able to grab a screenshot or so. um okay. Sister Habiba Bakari is saying that there are some organizations that don't request for resume or CV, but they ask some questions and a video recording. My question is that for those questions, are we allowed to use AI to aid with answering the questions? Is there a way recruiters check answers to know if a person used AI to generate answers? Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to say is a lot of people use plagiarism checkers. So a lot of AI tools just plagiarize stuff for you. Their AI takes responses from the internet and everything is brought together for you. And there's a higher likelihood that you would have a very high plagiarism score. That is if it is written. But I doubt that no matter what, like I doubt that any recruiter would have the time to transcribe what it is you've said in your video and then run it through a plagiarism checker, right? So for me, I'm going to say it's okay for you to use AI to aid you, but make sure that you are not copying and pasting whatever it is that AI has given you. AI tends to be verbose when it's speaking, like it gives you big grammar. Recruiter is not looking for somebody that is coming to break their head with grammar. Make sure that whatever output the AI gives you, you are personalizing it. And if you're running your prompt through AI, ensure that you're giving it enough context, right? When they're saying you should do a video recording, they want to hear about you. They want to hear about your experiences. They don't want to read your CV. They don't want to read your resume. They want to see you in action. And the greatest disservice you can do for yourself is to allow them see AI and not you in action. So put your story in there, put your experiences in there, write a draft. You can ask AI to improve it for you. But don't make AI your first point of, I'm trying to answer this question, draft something from me. And then once AI drafts that thing from you, you are reading from the document. No. So what I'm just saying is infuse yourself into whatever it is that the AI gives you. Record that video and send it. I hope I've been able to answer that question. وأنتم فجزاكم الله خيرا, Sister Kowiya. So Sister Halima is asking, how can we be editing our CV to suit the job position we're applying to? Like, do we always have to go to the cafe? Cafe ke? No. In this time and age, like this CV that I have here is not something that I did anywhere. I edited it on my Google Doc and I downloaded it as a PDF. Finish. Like, that's it. So, like I mentioned earlier, you have to have like a master CV that you use. So I have a master CV that looks like this, but it contains all of my experience, right? It contains everything. So when I see a job that I want to apply to, I go to my master CV, I begin to copy and paste relevant things in another document. And it is that document that I vet and check and then submit. And sometimes when you have been applying so much to jobs, you discover that some of those roles, they require the same thing. Like they require the same thing from you. Say if I'm applying to 2 talent recruiter roles now, I can use a CV that is similar and I don't need to change so much. So if you've applied to a role that is similar in the past, you can just bring that now and just tweak it and upload that. So you can absolutely do it on your phone, even though it's more convenient for you to use a laptop, but you can still do it on your phone. And if you are using Google Doc, make sure that you're checking, you're using the printer view, or there's a kind of, I've forgotten the kind of view that you're supposed to use, and it will show you as if you're looking at it on a laptop. Then you'd see the places that you're supposed to adjust. And even if you don't have a laptop, if you can draft something on your phone, you can contact a friend, someone who has a laptop, to just help you with the arrangement. And then you'll be able to upload it and just do that, inshallah. So you do not have to go to a cafe to get it done. You can do it yourself. But if you know that, okay, I can't really, yes, print layout. Jazakumullah khairan, Sister Shakira. So if you know that you can't really write your CV yourself, there are people who write CV for people, and you can pay them to create a CV for you. And usually they'll create a CV that you can adapt to any, position and all that. So, okay. Do we have any question? 1, 2 for Jazakumullah khairan, Sister Amina. Having a long way to go is not an issue. Just learning is the issue, so long as you're on the way and you're not going to the bush. So Sister Temitope is asking that, she recently heard that CV must be in PDF format. What's your say on this? Does it give a higher chance of interview? I mentioned it earlier too. When you want to submit your CV, it should be in PDF, not a Word format. What happens is if you submit your CV in a Word format, when I download it on my computer and I'm opening it, it will most likely be scattered. It is not going to be arranged the way it is arranged on your end. And it communicates to the person that you're sending it to that you don't have attention to details, because everything is looking scattered and they cannot come to your brain to see that, oh, this person actually arranged it. It's something that scattered it. No. So a lot of things are going to look scattered. It's going to look like you didn't put in the effort. It's going to look like you don't really want to do the job. Right? So make sure that once you edit your stuff in a document, you convert it to PDF before sending. PDF is what you should use, never Word document, unless the organization asks specifically for Word documents. Then you use page breaks to ensure that things are not scattered. So if there's a part of my like this CV now, maybe I actually wanted this to go to the next page. Say, for example, this led and managed is on the next page down here. It's only editor, and if I are publishing house that is at the top, and I want it to go down there, I'll come to this editor and then I'll insert a page break there, so that wherever my CV goes, even if it is in Word format, that CV is going to appear like a little bit arranged. It's not going to be as scattered. So if they ask you specifically for a Word document, share a Word document, but put in extra effort to ensure that everything looks fine. Okay, and I think that's the last question that we have. Wa antum fajazakumullahu khairan. Okay, I'm just going to take the last two questions that came in now. Do recruiters check plagiarism of CV submitted to them and act on that? Okay, now I'm going to give a general answer. I don't think a recruiter is going to have that time. I don't think a recruiter is going to have that time to check the plagiarism on your CV, because they're literally going through like hundreds of CV. But when people read a CV, a lot of people can sense when it's written by AI. A lot of people can sense when the flow is not moving, and automatically it can just lead them to dismiss your CV. So they are not even going to go through the process of trying to use a plagiarism checker to check anything, right? So, but if you're plagiarizing, this might also affect your profile matching score for people that are using, advanced tools to check whether your profile matches with the job that they want to fill. So it is in your best interest to actually not plagiarize. You can gain inspiration from things. You can have AI help you rewrite your own writing and make it more presentable, but don't just copy and paste things from whether AI or a website or anywhere, right? So I have another question, that if they ask for some specific experience on a job advert, if I don't have the experience, do I still have to go ahead and apply for the job, or should I leave it? I love this question. And thank you so much for answering, Sister Halima. Jazakumullahu khairan. It is something that I ought to have mentioned, but I did not mention it. I forgot. One thing that is very common with we women is when we see a job that requires 5 years of experience and we have 3 or 4, we do not apply. We're like, I can't really do it. But when they say they're looking for 5 years of experience and you have 3 or 4, that doesn't mean you shouldn't apply. You are not required to match a job advert 100% before you apply. Do you know how to do the job? Yes. I do not have up to 5 years of experience. Yes. Maybe I have the education that is required. I know how to do the work that is required. So I go ahead and I apply. It is just my job to convince them on my CV that I have the experience and the know-how. So you do not have to wait until you meet that specific experience before you apply to the job. But if you have like 1 year of experience and they're asking for 5, I'm not asking you to go and apply. Because a lot of times when you see people, when they ask for job experience like 5 years, and you see a lot of people that have more than that 5 years applying for that role. So you won't even be part of the competition, to be honest, if you have 1 year. But if you have something that is close to it, you have 3 years, you have 4 years, go ahead and apply, please. Don't just dismiss the job just because you don't have like the full experience that's there. So wa antum fajazakumullahu khairan, Sister Shakira. Sister Temitokwe, no, I do not offer CV review services. I am a writing coach. Generally, I teach creative writing, not CV review. It's just money that has carried me into the recruiting space. Wa antum fajazakumullahu khairan, Sister Amina. You can always go back. I don't understand. Your CV has been like the first one, and it was from a cafe that you got it with a pay. Okay, so cafes are not places where you should go and get them to help you write your CV, please. There are people who are like experts at writing CV. A lot of people with recruiting experience and HR experience, they offer CV writing on the side. Those are the people that you should be going to meet, not cafe owners to write your CV for you, please. So if you want to outsource it to people who can do the job. And if you're going to write it yourself, learn how to write the CV yourself and put it out there. You understand? So I think I've gotten to the end of all the questions and we've spent an extra 14 minutes. It's been a long time since we've been here. How have you found the session? Let me know in the comment section. Should I be dancing? Should I be happy that I've been able to impart like some knowledge on others? Should I be dancing or should I be like, Sister Amina, we have to come back. We have to come and do another CV because they said I did not do it well. Let me know now, Baggy, so that I will not drink water. Sister Amina, I cannot collect your own great and impressive because you'll be whining me small. Okay, thank you so much for your kind words, sisters. It's been so awesome here. It's been like so awesome, like being here, just being able to answer your questions and being able to contribute the small knowledge that I have to you and just being able to be of help. Thank you so much for being here. Wa antum fa jazakumullahu khairan for being here and for being such awesome people. So, Sister Amina, ẹ padà wá gba máìkì yín o, àwa ń lọlé o.
Okay. Oh. Hey, another sister has dropped a question for you. They said you said you coach on creative writing. Can you help with a session on that too? It's been an awesome moment. You see, I'm not whining you. Even though I joined late, you see now, more grace. So they said, do you?
You know, when you're like, oh, can you come and do a session on creative writing? Creative writing is how I chop food. You can come and do coaching with me. My coaching program is $1,250. Koporara, exactly, Koporara. You can come and then I'll coach you and you'll be my VIP client. And I have a lot of programs